After months of planning, designing, and building, the Minnesota Legislature's redesigned website is now ready for public use. The resources you've come to rely on are all still here, now in a fresher and easier to navigate design. Plus, for the first time, you can receive news from the legislature formatted for mobile devices. Whether catching up on legislative news on your smartphone or checking the status of a bill on your computer, it's important to be able to quickly and easily be able to access news and information from the legislature. In our 3-part navigational series, we help you become familiar with the new redesigned site. This video tour highlights the Joint Departments and Commissions section of the new website. How has the Joint Departments and Commissions web design improved?
The beauty of the new website design is that a lot of materials that were hidden underneath layers of pages or required you to go into individual offices to find are much more easily accessible.
How can I access the Joint Departments and Commissions homepage, and what will I find?
Right on the top bar, after House, Senate, there's Joint, and that tab will lead you to the major offices that are joint agencies for both the House and the Senate. If you click on it, you'll get a page that lists a variety of commissions, task forces, etc. that serve both bodies of the legislature.
Where can I find historical resources?
Well, many people who use the website are looking for information on legislatures and legislators from past years. The library has a really great database that has biographical information on all the legislators who have served since territorial times. You can easily find the legislators past and present database on the legislators tab, where under Joint it shows legislators past and present. And a lot of people also are doing legislative history, and the library has a very good guide that helps users learn which materials are available in print and which you might have to listen to an audio tape and which information is online. You can easily get to that guide by going under the Publications tab, and there's a legislative history section with the legislative history guide. And finally, the library has a wealth of information about state government and the history of the state legislature, and all of those resources are found on the bottom tab on each page under historical information. Check those out.
Where can I find the Office of the Revisor's homepage, and what will I find?
We're just right underneath the Joint Departments. We're the first one listed. This is our homepage, and you'd be able to go to the statutes directly from this page. You can go to the laws, you can go to the rules, you can get to the court rules, get to the Minnesota Constitution.
Where do I find current and historical versions of Minnesota law?
What they would do is go to the new Minnesota law page that the Revisor's Office has on the new legislature's website. This replaces the old statute laws and rules page from the previous site, so that the URL that you have is the same. If you bookmark that site, you'll be using the same URL. What we've tried to do on this page is continue with the same information on the old statutes, laws, and rules page. So for example, the Minnesota statutes are here, the Minnesota session laws, the administrative rules, the Minnesota court rules, and the Minnesota Constitution. What we've tried to do, though, is improve the page by adding easy-to-find boxes to find a particular law by number or search by keyword. Or in each segment, we have an icon for the current version of the statutes, laws, or rules, the index topics, and the archives. And we have the archives of the statutes all the way back to 1851, the session laws all the way back to 1849.
Can you show me how you would do legal research using the Revisor's pages?
Suppose you want to retrieve Minnesota Statute 16A.11. You just type it in, click on the icon, and voila, here's Minnesota Statute 16A.11. We've continued with the history links at the bottom of the page. So, for example, you can trace the entire history of this statute from 1939 to the latest change that was made in 2011 and click right on the links.
Here's a look at some of the other popular features you can find on the Joint Departments and Commissions section of the legislature's website.
There's a wealth of information in the joint agencies pages. The Geographic Information Service, that's the place for maps. Maps related to districts, maps related to legislation. The Legislative Commission on Pensions and Retirement is the agency that oversees the retirement systems. There are 2 offices that do a good job of monitoring the appropriations for environmental funds, or they recommend appropriations, the Lessard-Sams Outdoor Heritage Council and the Legislative Citizen Commission on Minnesota Resources. And finally, the Legacy website helps citizens monitor money that's being spent with legacy funds and the Environment and Natural Resources Trust Fund.
The Minnesota Legislature's redesigned website provides an easy way to access legislative information. We hope you found this Joint Departments and Commissions navigational tour helpful.